Hi guys, Rachael Cook, Doctor of Audiology at Applied Hearing Solutions in Phoenix, Arizona. And in today's video, I'll actually be doing a reaction to this easy tinnitus treatment by Ask Dr. Joe. Now, Dr. Joe is a doctor of physical therapy, and this video got a ton of traction. Even though it was posted 3 years ago, it's got almost 2.5 million views. Now, I'm really interested in these types of videos because I have tinnitus myself, and in addition, I'm an audiologist. This is exactly what I study and what I work with on a day-to-day. So that being said, let's jump straight on in.
Hey everybody, it's Dr. Joe and Rimicorn. I know! And today I'm going to show you a treatment for tinnitus, which is ringing in the ears. So let's get started. Oh no! Disclaimer alert, disclaimer alert.
Starting things off, this disclaimer alert's a little interesting. I do think that it's just a formality and probably just for legal purposes, but the very last sentence of this disclaimer says that they make no representations about the accuracy or suitability of this content, which was a little interesting. Anyway.
So tinnitus, which is a ringing in your ears, is 90% of the time caused by repetitive loud noises over a long period of time.
I'm actually not sure that this is true. I'm pretty sure that this is a statistic that she's referencing from a WebMD article that I actually think was quoted incorrectly. I believe that the correct quote that they're both trying to reference is that 90% of individuals with tinnitus have some form of hearing loss. That hearing loss definitely could be noise-induced hearing loss, which is a hearing loss from repetitive loud noise exposure, but this hearing loss could also be a sensory neural hearing loss that you may be born with or you may develop over time. This could also be a conductive hearing loss where there is some sort of medical condition or physical buildup of fluid or stiffening of the middle ear system that's not allowing sound through the auditory system correctly. So I actually think that that's what they're trying to say, that 90% of individuals with tinnitus have some form of hearing loss.
But sometimes it can be something a little more scary. It can be due to an ear infection. It can be a tumor that maybe is pressing on your auditory nerve in your ear.
Okay, so she did give 2 good examples of why tinnitus may be happening, but there are a lot of causes of tinnitus that are not nearly as scary as a tumor pressing on your auditory nerve. For example, you may just have a plain old wax obstruction in your ears. Tinnitus is also related to high stress levels, poor sleep patterns, and even things like TMJ, like disorders of the jaw as well. So there are less scary reasons as to why tinnitus may be happening.
So make sure if you have tinnitus, go to your regular doctor or an ENT, ear, nose, and throat specialist to find out what is causing it. So
you know what I'm going to say here. You can also see an audiologist if you're having tinnitus as well. Audiologists are trained, we get our doctorate in diagnosing and managing hearing loss and tinnitus conditions and disorders. So I would definitely recommend, if you have tinnitus concerns, schedule a comprehensive audiological evaluation with an audiologist near you. They will definitely be able to determine if there's a hearing loss there that may be causing it, and they'll also ask you questions about your medical history to see if there's other kind of red flags that could be contributing to why you're experiencing tinnitus. Just saying.
So a lot of you have asked me about how do you treat tinnitus, and a lot of times it's change of your diet, doing things like that.
I would actually say that changing your diet falls relatively low on the totem pole as far as treatment recommendations go. Most of the evidence-based, research-backed science says that things like sound therapy or hearing treatment, if you have a hearing loss, have a much more significant impact on tinnitus perception than changing your diet does. Potentially that's a treatment option. It's just interesting that that's the treatment option that she said.
I got really interested because this is not my specialty, and I don't really know if there were any exercises or stretches that you could do, and I do have tinnitus. It was definitely lots of 80s and 90s rock band music listening to too loud when I was growing up. But so I do have it occasionally. I don't have it, it's not constant, that goes on every once.
I think it's important here to make a differentiation between tinnitus and transient ear noise. And what she's actually describing here, I believe, is a little bit more consistent with transient ear noise. Transient ear noise is something that is experienced by nearly every single person across the globe. And it's this really brief, really strong ringing sensation in one ear or another. It comes on really, really fast. It also goes away really fast, and it generally only lasts for between 5 and 25 seconds, and it doesn't happen very often. That is not the same as what I would consider more true tinnitus, which is going to be something that's much more chronic, much more lasting. Anyone that has tinnitus will tell you that tinnitus doesn't really just happen or pop up. It's something that's generally always there to some degree, nearly always perceptible. Now, you can have days where the pitch gets worse or the volume gets worse. You can have your good days with tinnitus, you can have your bad days with tinnitus, but generally it's not something that's coming and going the way she's kind of describing it. It's something that's kind of always there in the background to some degree. The only reason that I make this differentiation is if this is a treatment option for transient ear noise, that's going to be different than a treatment option for someone who's had chronic tinnitus for a long period of time. So,
And every once in a while, I'll just get really loud ringing in my ears.
Again, she says, every once in a while, I'll just get a really loud ringing in my ears. This sounds much more consistent with transient ear noise, but we'll move on.
So to start off with, it's actually doing the movement with your ear. So if you have something like so the movement is going to be, you're going to grab your earlobe, but kind of grab close to your ear. Don't grab on the end. Make sure you get a good, firm, solid hold. And you're going to do a really quick movement 5 times. Up and away. But again, this is for speed. This is not for power. So you're not trying to pull your earlobe off. You're just going to do a quick up and away movement. Sometimes you'll actually hear a popping noise in your ear. And as long as it's not painful, that's fine.
Okay. She said, if you feel that popping noise in your ear, what I think is actually happening here is, based on the movement that she's recommending, she's probably just moving her eustachian tube a little bit. And the eustachian tube connects from the back of your throat into your middle ear space, which is right behind your eardrum. And that tube is there to actually keep the pressure between the outside world and that middle ear space behind your eardrum at the same pressure level, so that sound can actually get through the auditory system the way that it needs to. And if you have an imbalance in those pressures, sound does not transfer through the system in the way that it needs to. So this popping noise that she's referencing may actually be movement of the eustachian tube. If you have any mucus in your eustachian tube, whether you were sick recently or maybe suffering from some seasonal allergies, you may have some mucus or some fluid in the eustachian tube, and that movement is causing you to actually hear movement of that fluid. So that can result in popping, cracking, gurgling, things like that. Sounds really fun, right? I think that is what she's experiencing here.
And as long as it's not painful, that's fine. You're just kind of vibrating that ear canal to reset everything.
I truthfully have no idea what she means by this statement. Vibrating the ear canal to reset everything. I'm not exactly sure what she's resetting. I'm not exactly sure what there is to reset in your ear canal. She might be alluding to kind of moving that eustachian tube, but that is the only thing that I can think of. There's nothing to reset in your ear canal, and it's certainly not going to be reset by this motion.
So you grab that earlobe, and it's a quick up and away kind of movement. So just 5 times. That's it.
Okay, well, I guess that I should give it a try now. So she's grabbing onto her earlobe here, and with an up and away motion, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got nothing. I can still hear it. The tinnitus that I have is mostly in my right ear, which is why I'm doing it on my right ear. It is still very much there. Anyone that has more chronic tinnitus issues is likely not going to see much relief from this movement, because if you have tinnitus that's due to either noise-induced or sensory neural hearing loss, that means that the damage that's causing the tinnitus is actually within your cochlea. Your cochlea is your hearing organ, and that's actually housed within the skull. So there's nothing that you can do by moving the outer ear that's actually going to impact the area of damage, which is within that cochlea. Again, you might be seeing some movement of the eustachian tube, and if that helps to open that eustachian tube up and equalize that pressure between the middle ear space behind the eardrum and the outside world, then that's great. That may actually result in some relief for some individuals. But I think those that have that more chronic long-term tinnitus or tinnitus that is due to sensory neural hearing loss, noise-induced hearing loss, very unlikely that this maneuver is going to have any sort of lasting impacts on tinnitus perception.
Like I said, 9 times out of 10, my ringing went completely away. But again, make sure that you're being safe doing this and that you're grabbing nice and tightly, and it's an up and away. So it's almost at an angle this way. But again, you're not pulling hard.
So I am glad that she continues to make references to doing this safely and gently. I have seen a lot of very interesting tinnitus treatment, tinnitus management videos that have people doing some really weird things that I would nearly consider harmful to their health. So I'm happy that this is a relatively harmless maneuver if done correctly, and that she continues to warn people to, to take it slow, to be gentle, and to make sure that they're completing it safely.
You're pulling quick. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I can hear like a little kind of popping in my canal. I'm not exactly sure the science behind why this happens, but my thought process is, you're getting that canal making that kind of vibration, breaking up.
She keeps talking about vibrating the ear canal. I don't know what that is supposed to do for tinnitus perception.
Maybe if there is, an infection or something in there.
Okay, now she's talking about breaking up infection in there. I will tell you right now that if you have an ear infection, number one, you are likely going to be experiencing significant amounts of pain and discomfort that need to be treated by antibiotics. You need to be seen by a physician, by a doctor. This maneuver is not going to be able to break up any sort of infection in the middle ear space at all. It's certainly not going to resolve any sort of infections in the middle ear space. This is just, I have to say that this is not correct. You will not be breaking up infection in your middle ear space by pulling on your ear in this way.
If that ringing is just causing, going in through the ear, it almost just resets everything in it.
Okay, so she says that the ringing is going into the ear. What we know about tinnitus is that there's no sound going into the ear. It's actually lack of auditory stimulation or lack of sound getting into the brain that causes tinnitus perception. So there's no ringing that's going in through the ear. And again, she's talking about resetting everything in there. This maneuver is not resetting anything. Again, I'm not exactly sure what there even is to reset in the ear. I will give it to her that she's likely just saying that she's moving the eustachian tube around, but vibrating the ear canal will not be resetting anything.
And again, like I said, it might not work for you, but it's such a simple, easy thing to try. I think it's worth trying, and it definitely worked for me.
Okay, so I will give it to her. This is a tinnitus treatment video that is quick, it's free, and it's relatively harmless if you complete it in the manner in which she has instructed you to do so. Do I think that this is going to result in any sort of lasting tinnitus relief for individuals that have chronic tinnitus? No. Unfortunately, no. You can give it a try if you're going to follow it nice and safely, but really the only thing that I can see this maneuver doing is just moving that eustachian tube open and closed. Now, if you have a significant amount of fluid or mucus in the eustachian tube that is kind of creating a false hearing loss or temporary hearing loss just from that pressure mismatch, then yeah, this actually may result in some, quick relief. But that's a very specific circumstance, a very specific instance in which I would believe that this maneuver would work. Otherwise, I really don't think that this is going to be working at all. Now, they've done a lot of research about the placebo effect, and that researchers have found that if an individual believes that a treatment is working for them, the brain will actually provide some relief from that treatment, even if the treatment had no impact on their actual condition at all. And I do believe that there's an element of that's happening here. However, tinnitus really is best treated, number one, by getting a comprehensive audiological assessment to see if there is a hearing loss present. And if there is a hearing loss present, then first and foremost, hearing treatment is going to be your best treatment option. 6 out of 10 individuals that suffer from tinnitus perception see definite relief, significant relief, and clinically verifiable relief of their tinnitus simply through the use of hearing aids alone. Now, if hearing aids alone are not enough to overcome the tinnitus perception, maybe one of the 4 of 10 that hearing aids don't work for, at that point we would really be employing the use of other tinnitus management strategies such as sound therapy, or the use of a combination approach such as progressive tinnitus management or tinnitus retraining therapy. If you don't know what sound therapy is, definitely go check out my video about sound therapy so that you can figure out what it is, how to use it, when to use it, and what types of sound therapy to use. Sound therapy is definitely the most evidence-backed and research-based management option for the perception of tinnitus. But again, this is one of the more harmless methods for tinnitus management that I've seen. So thank goodness, because I've seen some pretty wacky ones out there. Overall, just make sure that you're being really safe if you're encountering videos like these on the internet. There are some pretty crazy ones out there. This one's a relatively harmless one, but there are some crazy ones out there, so keep an eye out for those. And if you really are suffering from your tinnitus, make sure you see an audiologist that can help give you strategies and management techniques for your tinnitus. All right, guys, that's it for this video. If you liked it, be sure to give it a thumbs up and make sure you subscribe to the channel so that you never miss any one of our newly released videos. And if you liked videos like these, make sure you drop a comment below. I'm interested in trying out some more of these internet treatments, managements, and maneuvers, but I gotta make sure that you are interested in seeing these videos as well. So if you'd like to see me try out more of these types of videos, make sure you drop a comment in the comment section below, and I will see you next week.